Welcome to the Market Mystics Podcast. I'm Joshua.
I'm Kim. Let's dive in.
So you know how we love to talk about truth and perspective and weird things. I was having a conversation with someone the other day about like muscle testing and like using muscle testing to find truth in a like, you know, in like a what should I eat or what supplement should I use or what should I do, like things like that. Is that something, have you ever dove into that? Have you ever done any of that?
Never. I mean, I've done muscle testing, but I've never muscle tested for truth.
Well, I mean, more like not necessarily like specifically truth, but like what should you eat or do or take or things like that.
That definitely I've done. Definitely.
Yeah. So muscle testing, as best as I understand it, is you're paying attention to a resonance in your body, and looking to how your body responds to a thing. And I was having this interesting conversation about it because I started to have this thought of like, okay, like I've done that and it's been important to me and I've had a lot of healing and things that have happened through that. However, sometimes my body wants things that aren't long-term the best. And sometimes you notice truth, or I'm using truth, but like, I don't know, the correct thing or something like it's not explicitly just truth. But sometimes you notice that because it's actually not a resonant frequency, like it's fighting against the pattern that you've established. And it was just an interesting like thing to kind of come across because I've never had that thought of like, well, maybe this isn't exactly what I need, because I've always just been like, oh, like my body deep down knows what it needs. And if I'm just tuned in to what my body really needs, that's the direction I'll go. But then it just like clicked one day of like, well, maybe that's true in a lot of situations, but sometimes you recognize truth because it doesn't resonate with the pattern that's already in place. What do you think about that?
I have never considered it from that perspective. I mean, I think that tends to be what discernment is for me. Like I feel it in my body, but I feel it in like soul and spirit sometimes too. Like it could be any of those things, and you like know when something is off and not for you, but also you can know when things are on and are for you. But the thing it makes me think about is how truth or the ideal or what is for you now can change. And how sometimes you really need to learn how to tune into those signals, whether it's muscle testing or it's discernment or whatever it is. Maybe you get tingles. I don't know what it is, but learn to tune into that so that you know when something is for you and when it is no longer for you. And there may be things that are for you for life, but there may not be. Like you were saying, you could muscle test yourself to, let's say, vitamin C, right? And you may test to it today and you may test to it tomorrow, but maybe on the third day, your body goes, I don't need that anymore. And I think, I don't know if this is where you're going with it, but I think not holding hard and fast to the permanence of those things is important in our walk.
Yeah, I definitely that's part of my thought is you just kind of constantly have to be in tune and asking and in relationship and in conversation to know. And the other part of it is just sometimes truth doesn't feel nice, I guess is what I'm thinking.
Let's go into that more. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, I'm trying to find a good analogy or a story from my life of it, but I think fitness or something like that could be the easy thing. Sometimes you have to feel discomfort so that 6 months from now you feel strong. When you learn a new thing, sometimes you feel stupid for a while you're learning a new thing. Sometimes when you start doing a new skill, you feel like you're never going to get it until one day it just clicks and you're like, oh, I understand. I helped someone learn to ride a bike one time, and it was a young kid. They'd been on training wheels, and I was helping them learn to ride a bike without training wheels, and they were doing it, and falling and stopping, and then all of a sudden it just clicked, something, the pathway was built, and it boom, okay, I got it. And you see that with dogs and kids, and just animals and people probably are the best ones. If you're training a dog how to do something, there's times where it's all of a sudden it just clicks. Oh, that's what you're trying to get me to do. Oh, okay, I know what to do. And the same thing happens with kids as well. But it's just kind of that thought that sometimes at first it feels really awkward or uncomfortable. It's not what you would naturally lean towards. And sometimes and I think that even that terminology, it's not what you would naturally lean towards. Cause talking about muscle testing, maybe my body's no, I don't want to go to the gym today. But going to the gym today is builds that new pattern to where 6 months from now you muscle test and your body's yes, I want to go to the gym today. I think it's that kind of process is what I've been thinking about, is sometimes what you need isn't what you would lean towards.
Yeah, I think that's valid. And I kind of think we need to bust up the belief that anything that is true and good and right will be comfortable, because I don't think that's the case. Yeah. I've actually been so uncomfortable and so outside of the norm and stretched in ways I didn't think I could be stretched while pursuing truth, while pursuing the thing that I was being led to do. Yeah. Or whatever. And I think that's it exactly, is you're building new pathways. I like that you talked about that, because, we have all of these neural pathways that have been set. So we know that this is how you drive a car. You don't even have to think about it anymore, right? Yeah. After a while, you just don't even think about driving a car, because your muscles know what to do. Your body knows what to do. Your brain knows what to do in different situations. But the process of that was not always easy, right? Think about, this is the one that always tripped me up in the beginning. When you back up, knowing which way to turn the wheel, yeah, to go which direction, yeah, it's confusing. That neural pathway is not there already. And so it's got to be forged. And so it's difficult, and you kind of muddle through it and you figure it out until now you back up and it's fine. Mm-hmm. Your body knows which way to go. Your brain knows which way to go. You don't have to give it a second thought. But those things aren't always comfortable, and they're not always, honestly, they're not very user-friendly sometimes, right? You fall off that bike and you skin your knees. You might get road rash or something. Mm-hmm. And that does not feel good. But once you get it, I mean, people even say, like, you never forget how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I guess I just want to, I don't know, debunk that, like that comfortableness,
Mm-hmm.
that ease is not always present in what is good and true and right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. And it's, we've talked about this, but I think the Western church does a disservice by only recognizing God as a good God who wants you to be healthy and wealthy. And I'm not saying that's not true. Like, I'm not saying he's not a good God and he wants you to be poor and sick. But I think it opens up the door for you to feel bad about yourself or that you're doing something wrong if that isn't the way you live or have experienced life. And it's just part of that, like, I think if that's our only view, then if we're ever in a situation where God needs us to be uncomfortable, we might not be able to see him in that.
Yeah, I was having this thought regarding comfort. I know in the character of God, he is the comforter.
Yeah.
But how does a comforter comfort if there is no discomfort to begin with?
Yeah.
And I find it really interesting if you think about some of these things, like he is the provider, right? Jehovah Jireh, like he's the provider. But why would you need to be provided for if you already had everything? You know what I mean? And I think sometimes there's some of this unease. It's in that hard where then that relationship really comes into play, because then he makes a hard thing comfortable, right?
Mm-hmm.
He brings comfort in something that is not easy. He brings providence where maybe things weren't flowing. And I think that's kind of some of the beauty of who he is in relation to us. If we open those, I don't know, floodgates of relationship, I would say.
Yeah.
Because there are things that it would look like it's hard and you'll never overcome it, except that in that relationship, he allows for those things.
Yeah.
But if you're never in the discomfort, how is he going to comfort?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I totally get it. And I think that, like, that speaks to kind of what I'm thinking of, like, sometimes we're in uncomfortable situations and the right thing to do isn't to pursue comfort, but it's actually to lean into the discomfort, because that's the quickest way through the discomfort. And yeah, I just think, like, I really want to, it's not that I want to be uncomfortable, but that's where growth happens. Like, that's where we are stretched and where new things come to be possible, is when things are uncomfortable. And that's what gives us the possibility to do the bigger, newer things. You can, like, I mean, exercising is a great thing, like a great example, because literally what you're doing is destroying your muscles so that they grow back bigger. And that, like, it's that little breakdown of them that actually makes you stronger. It's the discomfort. And so, like, I just think sometimes it's like the pattern that we want to be in, to break it sometimes requires discomfort. And so sometimes it's like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, okay, if I'm constantly just relying on my body to tell me truth, is my body ever going to choose the uncomfortable thing? And I think that that's why it's important to have an understanding that you are multiple parts in one thing, and, like, it all works together, and, like, the goal is for them to all be in harmony. but sometimes you have to use that discernment to know which one is leading, because it could be your flesh that's trying to lead, and your flesh needs to not be the leader for a moment so that you actually can get to the thing that you need to do.
This is true. You know what? It makes me think about kind of muscle testing, but you know, when you have an infection, there's bacteria. Bacteria feeds on sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And so your body will crave sugar when you have an infection, but it only feeds it and does not actually help you. There are times like that when your body is going to be craving something or leaning towards something that is not actually the ideal. And it actually feeds something else. And I think this is a good example of why it's important to combine all the different pieces of who you are and what makes up your being. So body, soul, spirit, some people would say gut. Some people would say heart.
Yeah.
Farney. I'm talking about Farney.
Yeah.
But you kind of need to listen to all of those things. And sometimes you do things that the body says, oh, I don't want to do that, but it is for the greater good. But sometimes you do things that maybe your soul would say, oh, I don't want to do that, but it is for the greater good. We were just talking before this, you know, the up the mountain, down the mountain thing. Like sometimes when God's calling you to something, he's pulling you up the mountain and you have to let things go in order to make it to the top of the mountain. And then once you've gotten there, he will send you back down the mountain. And from time to time, you are able to pick those things back up.
Mm-hmm.
There are episodes on this. And so if you want to know more about what I'm talking about, you can go watch those. I think it's called Up the Mountain, Down the Mountain. Really obvious. But one of those things for me, Josh, we were just talking about this, so I'm going to lump you into this, has been like the traditional medical system. There's been so much unwinding for me in that, and like really leaning toward naturopathic ways, homeopathic ways, and things that come from the earth that were made to help heal your body. But just a few weeks ago, there was an instance where I was ministering to someone. We were praying, we were connecting with the Father over some health stuff. And he showed this big part of the medical system, which a couple years ago, I would have said, absolutely not. No way, no how. And he was so gentle in this. And he was like, did I not make everything? This is for you. I am in this too. But it's part of the modern medicine route as opposed to the naturopathic route. And in that's something that my body would want, that my soul would go, no, we're not doing that anymore. So I'm just saying it really is this conglomeration of information and really kind of uniting within yourself and leaning into what is best at this moment. And it might change tomorrow.
Yeah. It might change tomorrow, and it might not look the way you think it should look. And like, you know, it's why it's important to just walk in relationship. And like, I think framework is super important. Like, I'm really big on having a solid framework, but that doesn't mean that the framework you don't ever add or expand or change or remodel or
stretch.
Yeah, like some of the things that you needed, you know, the right thing that you needed when you were 2 is not the right thing you need when you're 10, is not the right thing you need when you're 20. And yeah, there may be times where you are only using one type of thing, and then all of a sudden the opposite, like, is what your body needs to move to that next level. Like, yeah, we were just talking about like having a situation like that where it's like, oh yeah, this is what I've always thought, except for at the moment, I think this is actually what I need. And it stretches you. It stretches you to also not have that view of, this is only bad. This will ever only be bad. This is absolutely not from God. Like, it stretches you to see him in new things and allow him to use new things for your good.
Mm-hmm. You know what I think is a really interesting and fun practice? I say fun. I don't know if I really mean fun. I'm also not really well acquainted with fun. But I think this is an interesting thing that you could do, is to go and explore some of these things with the Father. Like, here's this thing. Is this for me right now? Is this not for me right now? Here's this thing that was for me yesterday. Is this still for me? Can you show me what is for me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, lean into that relationship and learning to bring that part into your whole part.
Yeah.
And discerning these things. Because I think it can serve to do a few different things. Number one, expand your mind and opinion. Number two, work that muscle and learn his voice, right? It's that relationship muscle, which I know is not a physical muscle, whatever. But it is something like, relationship is practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? If you relate with something one time, you have related. If you do it multiple times, it is a relationship. It is ongoing, right?
Yeah.
And we're looking for relationship. So it's not the only in trauma, or only in a dilemma, or only when you need something are you reaching out, but it is in the everything, and he might just show you some things that you never expected to see. And he might just reinforce and help you remember that you were made for great things, and that your body and your soul and your spirit are equipped for this,
Mm-hmm.
and that he's made you for this kind of stuff. And he may say, put this thing down. Don't touch it. And 6 months from now, he may say, pick that thing back up.
Yeah.
Because it's different now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But you'll never know if you don't engage, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the fun part of relationship, is there's so much to learn always.
You have to do the actual walking out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's great to read about someone and hear about them, but it's better to walk with them.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, this was good. I wasn't exactly sure where it was going to go because I only had the beginning of a thought, but I think it turned into a pretty good conversation.
That's good. I think so too. I feel like there's more, honestly, because I've only just started thinking about it when you brought it up. And so many times, I mean, I'm saying this for the sake of the listeners, but so many times, Josh, you and I will talk about stuff, and then this is a continued conversation over days or weeks or months or years. Yeah. We've been talking about rest for years now, and I feel like it's continuing to evolve.
Yeah.
And just so I'm encouraged by this, because it's kind of opening a new door to really start thinking about things and exploring.
Sometimes
more of what
takes a while to chew something.
Yeah. But I love that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, listeners, thanks for being with us today. I hope you guys have something to chew on with this as well, and maybe it'll be something you process with the Lord for months to come. I'm sure it will be for us as well. But thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for tuning in to the Market Mystics. If you are hungry for more, don't miss out on our exclusive bonus content available only to YouTube members. Demystify the world of cryptocurrency in the cryptosphere, and explore everything from outrageous conspiracies to curious current events and out there spiritual musings. Nothing is off limits in Let's Get Weird. Become a channel member on YouTube to unlock these extra episodes. See you in the bonus episodes.